Let's get right into it. Number 9, two people in one body. Your body might actually carry two different genetic codes at the same time. That unusual phenomenon is known as chimerism. It can occur when, in the womb, you absorb your twin before birth. The twin disappears, but their DNA remains inside you. That means different tissues in your body could carry entirely different DNA. For example, your skin cells might have one genetic code, while your skin cells might have one genetic code, while your blood cells follow another. The wild part is, most people with chimerism never realize they have it. Occasionally, there are visible hints like mismatched eye colors or distinct patches of skin that differ in tone or texture. In some cases, people even have two blood types circulating in their system. One striking story tells of a mother who nearly lost custody of her own children. DNA tests suggested she wasn't their biological parent, despite having given birth to them. The reason? Her eggs carried her twin's DNA, not hers. Another fascinating case is model Taylor Mull, whose body shows a sharp line straight down her torso, one side a different shade from the other. That dividing line marks where one DNA set ends and another begins. Scientists suspect chimerism might be far more widespread than anyone thinks. You could be a chimera yourself, and the only way to ever know would be through specialized genetic testing. Number 8. Permanently uncombable hair. Imagine waking up every morning with hair that looks like you just stuck your finger in an electrical socket. For people with uncombable hair syndrome, that's not a bad hair day, it's daily life. This is a rare genetic condition that makes the hair nearly impossible to flatten with a comb. Worldwide, only about 100 cases have ever been recorded. The hair sticks out in every direction, giving off that wild, mad scientist vibe. Most often, the hair is silvery blonde or straw-colored, making kids look unusually striking. Scientists discovered that the cause lies in mutations in 3 genes: TCHH, PADI3, and TGM3, basically the construction crew responsible for building hair. When these genes malfunction, the hair shafts don't form as smooth cylinders like normal hair. Instead, they turn into tiny triangular prisms. Normal cylindrical strands can lie flat, but these 3-sided ones simply can't. The syndrome usually shows up in very young children, sometimes as early as a few months old. The good news? For many, the condition improves once puberty hits, almost like the body finally figures out how to grow proper hair after years of trial and error. Aside from the unusual appearance, the condition is completely harmless. Number 7. Blood of gold. Imagine having a blood type so rare that only around 50 people on Earth are known to have it. This is called Rachenal blood, often nicknamed golden blood. What makes it special is the complete absence of Rh proteins on the red blood cells. Almost everyone has these markers, but people with golden blood simply don't. The first case was identified back in 1961, when doctors tested the blood of a woman in Australia. At first, scientists assumed life without Rh proteins wouldn't be possible. But it turns out people with this blood type can live normal, healthy lives, though it comes with serious challenges. In medicine, their blood is priceless. Since it lacks all H antigens, it can be safely given to people with many other rare blood types. The danger comes when they need blood themselves. Their immune system rejects any blood containing even a single H antigen. The only safe option is blood from another H anal donor. Here's the catch: there are only about 9 active donors worldwide. That's it. So if someone with golden blood ever needs a transfusion, finding a match is almost impossible, like searching for a needle in a haystack that spans the entire globe. Because of this, many people with golden blood take extra precautions. Something as simple as a motorbike accident could put their life at risk if compatible blood isn't available in time. Number 6. Mismatched peepers. Heterochromia is a condition where a person has 2 differently colored eyes. It's uncommon, showing up in less than 1% of people worldwide. There are actually 3 main forms. Complete heterochromia is when each eye is a completely different color, say one blue and one brown. Segmental heterochromia happens when sections of the same eye are different shades, and central heterochromia is when the area around the pupil forms a distinct ring of another color. Most cases are genetic, linked to mutations that affect how pigment is distributed in the iris, but it can also be acquired later in life, often because of an injury or a disease. Actress Mila Kunis, for instance, developed it after an eye injury in childhood. And then there's David Bowie, famous for his unusual eyes. But his wasn't true heterochromia. He was struck in the eye as a teen, which left one iris permanently dilated, creating the illusion of 2 colors. Throughout history, people with heterochromia were often seen as mysterious. In some parts of Eastern Europe, they were suspected of witchcraft. Among certain Native American groups, they were believed to have the gift of seeing into hidden or spiritual realms. Number 5. No nails for you. There's a super rare genetic condition called congenital anonychia. People with it are born without any fingernails or toenails. That's right, not a single nail. Only a handful of cases have ever been documented worldwide. The cause? A mutation in the RSPO4 gene. To actually show up, you need to inherit this mutation from both parents. Other than that, everything about the fingers and toes looks totally normal. Bones, skin, even the nail beds are there, just no nails growing on top. Surprisingly, it's not a serious disability. People can still do pretty much everything. They just have to get a little creative in certain situations, like scratching an itch or picking up a coin off the floor. On the flip side, they save money and headaches. No nail clippers, no broken nails, no hangnails, no salon visits. One 19-year-old guy from Saudi Arabia lived his whole life without nails. He played sports, finished school, and was totally confident. Even more interesting, several other family members across generations had the same condition. Doctors don't treat it as a disease that needs curing. It's more like a rare, quirky genetic variation. Number 4. Double trouble lashes. There's an unusual condition known as distichiasis. Instead of one row of eyelashes, you end up with two. Only around 1% of people have this rare trait. At first, it might sound glamorous, like having natural lash extensions built right in. But here's the catch. That second row often grows the wrong way, pointing inward, which means those lashes are constantly brushing against your eyeball. Imagine tiny needles poking your eyes thousands of times a day. That's what it feels like. Some people are born with it because of a gene mutation. During early development, the cells that should have turned into protective tissue around the eye instead became hair follicles. Others might develop extra lashes later on, often after an eye injury or infection. The result? Constant irritation, redness, swelling, and in severe cases, damage to the cornea. Treatment usually means removing the extra lashes, sometimes with lasers, sometimes with surgery, and sometimes just by plucking them out regularly. Number 3. Bonus neck rib. Roughly 1 out of every 100 people has an unexpected extra rib growing from the neck. It's called a cervical rib. You don't develop it later, it's there from birth. This additional rib sprouts from one of the neck vertebrae, usually just above the first normal rib. For many, it goes completely unnoticed. But in some cases, this bonus rib presses on nearby nerves or blood vessels. That can trigger tingling, numbness, and shooting pain down the arm. In more severe situations, circulation gets cut off. One teenage athlete had her rib pressing against blood vessels so badly that blood flow to her arm was blocked. At first, doctors thought it was nothing serious, but when her fingers started going numb and changing color, she ended up needing vascular surgery. All of it traced back to one tiny rib no one realized she had. And here's a fun twist. Woolly mammoths often had these same neck ribs. Some researchers even suspect that this quirk might have played a role in their extinction. Number 2. One palm line to rule them all. Take a look at your palm. Most people have 3 main lines running across it, but for about 1 in 30 people, there's only a single line stretching all the way across. This is known as a single palmar crease. It was once called the simian crease because it looks similar to what's seen in monkeys, but that term isn't really used anymore. The line actually forms before birth, around 12 weeks into pregnancy. As the hands are developing and curling in the womb, sometimes 2 separate creases merge into one. Interestingly, men are about twice as likely to have it compared to women, and it's also more common among people of Asian or Native American ancestry. Most of the time, it's just a harmless variation, like having attached earlobes. That said, it does show up more frequently in people with certain genetic conditions, such as Down syndrome, but on its own, the line doesn't indicate anything is wrong. Many healthy people have it, and in some cases, it only appears on one hand. It can even run in families. Number 1. Secret air hole. You might spot a tiny little hole near your ear that you never really noticed before. That small opening is called a pre-auricular pit. Around 1% of people in the US have it, but the numbers are higher in other parts of the world, reaching up to 10% in some Asian and African populations. This small ear pit actually forms during early development in the womb. The outer ear develops from 6 little tissue mounds that are meant to fuse together. When they don't fully merge, it can leave behind this tiny opening. The first scientific description was made by a Dutch researcher back in 1864. But interestingly, Renaissance artwork shows people with these pits centuries earlier. Most of the time, they're completely harmless. But occasionally, if bacteria or dirt get stuck inside, they can become infected, leading to swelling, pain, or even some discharge. This trait can also be inherited. So if you've got one, there's a chance your parents or children might have it too. That's it for today. More unusual body facts coming soon. Don't forget to follow for the next one.